Greetings to my Hebrew family. This is the third Charles D. Wanted to pop on real quick and share some thoughts with you from my reading time today um, on the importance to keep the commandments. What I was reading today, a lot of things just jumped out at me, and I want to share those with you all, especially those that may be new to the ideal of keeping the commandments. Maybe have been taught over the years that we don't have to keep the commandments, as I was, and now have understood and are understanding that we do have to keep the commandments as Hebrews. That was never done away with. The Sabbath day was never changed. We were never allowed to eat pork or crustaceans out of the waters. Those things never changed. And I want to just highlight a few scriptures that I read today that kind of linked up. Um, we are taught that we get truth out of the word, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little and there a little. So while we can read the book from cover to cover, we understand, first of all, that it was not put um, in chronological order, but even it's like a puzzle, though. Even beside that, it's like a puzzle where you have to dig into it, and you have to search it out. You have to search out the scriptures and find pieces of truth to put together to get a better picture. And I just want to take a few pieces today. Obviously, this is not everything, um, but a few pieces to highlight that hopefully will help somebody on that the point that we should keep the commandments. Proverbs 19 and 16 says, "He that keepeth the commandment keepeth his own soul, but he that despiseth his ways shall die." So the fact that this is just one sentence, the context means you keep the commandments, you keep your own soul. Keeping the commandments is good for your soul. But if you despise your way, you'll die. And it's not talking about physical death, because Hebrews 9 and 27 says, "And as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this is the judgment." So it's talking about spiritual death. So keeping the commandments, you keepeth your own soul from that spiritual death. Again, in accordance with faith in the Messiah, not talking about just keeping the commandments by themselves, but combined with faith in the Messiah. In fact, that's how we prove our faith in Messiah, is by keeping his commandments. But he that despises his way shall die, and that's the second death. Wisdom of Solomon, found in the Apocrypha, which was a part of the Bible up until a couple hundred years ago. So for many, many years, it was a part of the original Bible, and then they've taken it out because it contains too much information that would um, cause too many questions from those that are trying to control the populace. But anyway, Wisdom of Solomon 19 and 6 says, "For the whole creature is in his proper kind was fashioned again anew, serving the peculiar commandments that were given unto them, that thy children might be kept without hurt." Now, if you read this whole chapter, especially just beginning verses leading up to this, it was dealing with when right before our ancestors came out of Egypt. Even back then, we kept the commandments we kept were peculiar to everybody else. The way we lived, that was strange. That's what peculiar means. That was strange to everybody else. People wasn't living like that. We lived in and of ourselves. We did it a whole different way. So that was strange to people, but we did it so that our children were kept without hurt. So when the Egyptians were going through all that calamity and all those judgments, our people didn't go through that. We seen it, but we didn't go through it. Ecclesiasticus, also found in the Apocrypha, chapter 19, 19, verses 19, 20, and 24. 19 says, "The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life, and they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality." Now, I read this and immediately I thought of Revelation 22:14, because it sounds really similar to Revelations 22 and 14. What does that say? It says, "Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they might have a right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city." So again, there's that harmony between what was said hundreds of years before, or even thousands of years, and then later on, we haven't gotten to Revelations 22, not in real time. So there is some harmony there, a little bit here, a little bit there, where you can get the truth of we are still supposed to be keeping the commandments. Verse 20, the fear of the Lord is all wisdom, and in all wisdom is the performance of the law and the knowledge of his omnipotency. Omnipotency. So the fear of the Lord is all wisdom. And in all wisdom, so that wisdom that we're talking about, what the fear is, that's performance of the law. They go hand in hand. We look what verse 24 says. He that hath small understanding and feareth the most high. So there's that fear in verse 20 of the Lord is all wisdom, and in all wisdom is the performance of the law. The fear of the most high in verse 24, we're talking about performance of the law, is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the most high. Transgression of the law, 1 John 3 and 4, that's the biblical definition of sin. So to have little understanding, of what people might say, you're not very bright, but if you fear the most high and you're proving it in your life by living according to his laws, that's better than the one who would say they're really wise, might have a PhD or whatever, a doctorate or whatever, but they're living in sin. It's better for the person living according to the law. Look at what 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 18 and 19 say. Let no man deceive himself. Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with the Most High. For it is written, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness. People say that we are fools for wanting to live according to the laws of the Most High. It says it's foolishness. Why can't you eat pork? It's so delicious. Bacon is the greatest thing ever, and it's not. Why, Sunday is the day that we're supposed to work, the first day, but it's not. That's not the Sabbath. It never changed. We're the ones that are being called fools, but Paul said, if you think you're wise, you're better to become a fool, because again, wisdom according to the Most High has to do with living according to his laws, not living according to this world. Look what in that. So back here in 19, it said, "For it is written." When it says that in the word, it's talking about what it was written in the old scriptures, or in the Old Testament, what we call, because again, the New Testament saints, the New Testament brothers, did not have a New Testament. They didn't have this New Testament part of the Bible that they could go and reference. They only referenced the Old Testament, or the scriptures. That's what they had. That's what they are referring to. So when he says this is written, we go back to find out what was written. Psalm 94, 11 and 12 says, the Lord knoweth the thoughts of man, that they are vanity. They're pointless. The thoughts of men are pointless. Look what verse 12 says. Blessed is the man whom thou chastenest, O Lord. So whoever the Lord deals with and teaches him out of thy law, teaches him out of their law. That's when you know that you're a part of the family of the Most High. If he's dealing with you to train you up, to teach you, to discipline you, just like a parent does their child. If they love them, they're going to discipline them. They're going to chasten them. They're going to teach them what they expect them to do. Proverbs 4 and 2. I give you good doctrine. Forsake ye not my law. Just a few verses dealing with that, because many people have been deceived that we're not supposed to live according to these laws, and we are. Peace and blessings, and I'll see you next time.